Welcome to another session with us at Joint at Emmanuel Fellowship in. This week we are planning to talk on social media because, as you know, a lot of you and us included, we do so many things on social media. So, Carlos will give us some insights into biblical principles that we can apply as we use this medium in our work, in our personal lives, and in every way. So, hi Carlos.
No.
Uh, one of the first things I want to ask you is, as I just mentioned, everything is on social media, be it a personal account or be it even churches now are online, they're on social media. So everyone, for getting any sort of content, everyone has to be on social media. So how do you say we should handle this new influx of online content that we're feeding on almost 8 to 10 hours of the day, or for many others even more? So how do we deal with it?
Right. Yeah, I mean, um, if I look at it, it's a good thing that in your lockdown, instead of you just being by yourself and be depressed and disappointed, discouraged, and not knowing what to do next, and basically better than that state. It's better to be in touch with some of your friends, relative, your loved ones through the medium of social media, right? So that is what it has opened us to. Even as a pastor for a church, now because of the restrictions, we are not able to meet in person, so we are reaching out through social media. So we are trying to use that medium as a blessing for people who are actually locked in homes. So in that sense, if we look at it, it is a blessing to many of us. So many things what we are learning. I'm sure a lot of people are spending time in YouTubes and different channels learning skills. In that way, it is really a blessing. But it's too much of screen time. It's not good. It's not good for your eyes. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your heart too. Because what you see through your eyes, that is your light which is getting into you. So if what you see is wrong, so your heart is filled with that particular information, your minds are filled with that particular information. So that's why it is a blessing, but yeah, what we see does matters.
So that's really nice. You put what is positive and what are the negatives of social media in a very crux. But I want to ask you, as you talk to so many youngsters, you deal with them. Can you share one example where you have used social media, any of the medium, be it Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or WhatsApp, or Signal, or any of these mediums, in a positive way where it really impacted and turned around someone's life? Can you share some experience?
Yeah, I mean, our own example is the way right now we use the platform Zoom, the way the platform we use Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. So we try to generate godly content, because when I look at news, it's everything is so negative out there. There's so much of chaos. There's so much of mishaps and deaths and so much of negativity out there, and it has infiltrated even into social media. Every time I open a text, the WhatsApp, I see somebody or other have passed away whom I know or who is in my close friends. So much of negativity. If I only would receive that, I would definitely get discouraged and get into depression. But that's the reason why we've decided actually to bring out more hope-filled content, more content which which is positive in nature. so which encourages them in a godly way. So arts is a example how we're trying to do more and more of such contents to actually bless people. So and I keep receiving a lot of comments and messages, and how they've come across our content and they are blessed, and that's something what they are going through, and God has spoke to them at the right time. And yeah, I mean, God did it through our own platforms.
So what we're seeing is that God is using us to minister to people even through social media,
Right.
through WhatsApp. So what would be your word of encouragement to churches and other young pastors like you who are coming up, who are doing things? How should they go about using social media?
So yes, to all the leaders and pastors out there, let me tell this truth. Again, Jesus Christ said clearly that till the gospel reaches to the ends of this world, Jesus Christ's second coming will be delayed, right? So Jesus Christ is not at fault for the delay, but we ourselves have to spread the gospel, expand, right? The bride of Christ need to be prepared for the second coming of Jesus Christ. So through this social media platforms, we can actually reach out to more and more people. Yes, you could be restricted to few people in your church, or you're restricted to your closed rooms, but still we can make a godly spirit-filled content where and you could post it on such platforms, and it can impact many thousands and millions of people who's out there, who is on social media. Again, our youngsters, they're all on social media. That is an advantage. We can take it to ourselves, because most of the time they are on social media, and as you present your case out there, and they are watching, they are listening, they are liking, they are commenting, and they are being blessed with what you're going to share, or what you would be sharing there on the platform.
So my final question would be about the negatives of social media, and how can youngsters who are receiving this content, how do they create a balance? Because there's there's an addictive aspect of social media, like coffee. You drink one cup, you want to drink more. So how do you balance this? And what are the steps youngsters need to take so that they don't get deceived, on the other hand, being on social media? Yes, they're out there to receive Christian content, like encouraging words, and even encountering God online. But then what about drawing that balance so that they don't go on the other side, flip side of it, where they are influenced negatively?
Right. See, again, social media has a whole world of information out there. There is no end to it. You can spend your entire lifetime just viewing, liking certain posts, and still it doesn't get over, right? And like as she said, it's only addictive in nature, and only, again, the content only gets better and better and better and better, right? So what we need to do is we need to one thing very important is who we are following on social media, who is in our friend list in our social media. And because if you only keep seeing negative content, or content which is misleading, content which is misquoted, content which tempts you in a wrong direction, and as you keep watching, on the inside you become weak. And when you become weak on the inside, and you're not able to take stand, draw boundaries, and you want to slowly push boundaries for yours, you want to slowly somehow indulge in those things. So it's very important what you watch. You can always have a time limit. Okay, this many minutes I'm going to be on social media, and nothing beyond that, right? And again, we should not make social media as our idol. So anything which takes the place of God is actually an idol. So if you're struggling with your quiet time with the Lord, and in your prayers and reading Bible, and but you have all the time in the world to be on social media, so it tells me that it has taken the place of God. That's something we need to be aware of. Another point is, people tend to present their best content out there, best image out there, best looking picture out there. So there is a tendency, might be, we will start thinking that, oh, they're all looking so handsome, oh, they're all looking so beautiful, oh, they're all going to such expensive places, but my family is not allowing me, is not taking me, or I don't have such money, or I don't have such color. Or this, there can be so many thoughts which can get into your mind, right, as if you don't resist, right. So that's something which we need to be aware of, right. So again, they're trying to project the best things. That doesn't mean that they don't have the worst moments in their life. They do have the worst moment. It's just that nobody likes to present it on social media, right. So I'm telling you, every marriage have gone through tough times, ups and downs, but it's about how you're able to forgive each other and put above other person above yourself, and be able to love each other. Because I'm seeing this example because this is something constantly keep hearing from youngsters. Look at their parents, look at their lives, it's so beautiful. They don't have fights in their family, we have fights in the family. That's not true. Let me tell you, that's not true. Every family has a fight, every family has a bit of turmoil, but it is up to the family how they maneuver through the fight and still be able to love each other, right. So another encouragement is, don't hate marriage. Nowadays, something what I'm seeing in youngsters, in they are hating marriage. They don't want to come in a covenant relationship. They're trying to run away from marriage and get into certain very illicit relationships, something which is sin in the sight of God. That's something we need to also be careful. And again, there are so many people who are trying to abuse you, threaten you through social media platform. We need to be careful and about that also.
Thank you, Pastor Carlos, for this wonderful insights. And I'm sure it's going to bless each one of you who are listening. Just take these points, think about it, ponder on it. Though we had to keep it really short, there's so much more to talk about this, and we will have further conversations. Drop in your comments below if you have questions which we have not dealt with in this interview, and we'll ensure we reply and we respond to your questions. God bless you all. See you at the next joint.